Hello, my dear students and the rest of the learners. Welcome to part 23 of EDAT 7 part series of tutorials in computer structured programming in C and Pascal. This is section 2 of 13 in the topic data structures. My name is MemJM, or you can simply call me EMELISWAP. In this tutorial, I'm going to look at strings, data structure, and I am going to look at the description of strings, implementing strings in Pascal, and implementing strings in C. Let's commence by looking at the description of strings. A string is a data collection of characters and is terminated with the help of a escape sequence 0 character in C. This character is called null character. It is called null character and not 0 character. The natural representation of a string is a vector or array of type char. Because there is no string data type in C, a string can be represented using an array of char data type or character data type or a linked list. But in Pascal, string data is declared using data type string. Each character of the string is stored as one element of the array. The length of a string is equal to the number of characters. If a Pascal program does not support a string data type, you can implement the same with the use of a packed array of char, which is declared as var first name packed array, which runs from range 1 to 25 of char or of characters. This means that first name is a character type or a char type packed array whose size is 25. Generally, a string is a sequence of symbols drawn from the character set. The string data types store a sequence of characters which are enclosed in apostrophes. That is, a string apostrophe in Pascal, but double quotes in C. So, a string constant or literal in Pascal is represented using single quotes. For example, message equals to press any key to continue, or press any key to continue is an array of characters assigned in memory location called message. While in C, it's represented using double quotes. For example, press any key to continue being assigned to memory location called message. A string is stored in the memory as a linear array of characters. Strings helps in making programs to be more interactive. For example, prompting a user to input, format output, and displaying validation messages. The only way to differentiate between a character and a string is by looking at the declaration of the variable. Strings are declared as follows in Pascal. Var followed by variable name and then data type string with optional string size. That is, if you want to make use of array of characters or you want to specify the length of the string. For example, we can declare it as var, variable name being first name, and data type being string. Or you can declare it as array of characters using string data type, where we specify the size of the string by having it as var for variable, then first name as our variable name, being of type string, whose size is 25. A packed array is an array of characters in which the elements are stored such that each machine word accommodates as many characters as possible. The word size of a machine refers to the number of bytes used by a single of manipulation and communication with memory. In memory, a string is stored as follows. So, like for example, if you want to store our character or our string being meme, which is an array of characters, we shall have each section of memory being allocated a single character, but they are combined together to form a word, or what we call word size. So like in this case, we want to store the string meme, but the last character is escape sequence character that indicates the end of a single string. As you can see, because C does not have a string data type, strings are declared with the use of array of characters. That is, using char data type. Therefore, in C, we do not have string data type, but we replace the string data type with an array of char, or an array of characters. For example, we can have char first name being an array of 25 characters. One can then assign a string to the variable as a constant, or just have the content assigned as the program executes. For example, the following can be assigned to the variable first name as a string constant. First name equals to meme, or meme is being assigned to the memory location called first name as a constant. We enclose the string in double quotes. This can also be initialized as follows. First name in bracket 0 equals to M. First name 1 equals to E. First name 2 equals to E. First name 3 equals to M. First name 4 equals to E. My dear students and the rest of the learners, I would like to inform you that we are going to discuss more about those numbers in the square brackets later in the series of presentations on the series that I am going to be covering on arrays. However, these initializations simply means that within the array, assign index 0, letter M or character M. Then index 1, assign character E. Index 2, assign character E. In index 3, assign M. Index 4, assign E. So in the first position within the string, we assign M. In the second one, we assign E. In the third one, we assign E. In the fourth one, we assign M. In the fifth one, we assign E. I'm going to speak about these indices or index under the array presentations or tutorials. We can declare and define an array of characters and initialize it with a string constant in C as follows. For example, car, our memory name or memory location name being message, and then we don't need to specify the size because the size will be automatically allocated once we assign our string into the array of car. For example, in this case, we are assigning hello world into the memory location that is going to store our character or our array of characters. And this memory location is called message. So the size will be determined by the size of the string that you are going to assign into it. In this case, we can leave out the dimension of the array since the compiler can compute it for us based on the size of the initializer, that is 14, including the terminating escape sequence character, which is the terminating sequence character. This is the only case where the compiler sizes a string array for us. However, in other cases, it will be necessary that we decide how big the arrays and other data structures we use to hold strings are or will be. To do anything else with the strings in C, we must typically call functions. The C library contains a few basic string manipulation functions. So in C, if you have to use functions to manipulate the strings or array of characters, you must include the header file string.h. That is the header file called string, which contains the functions to manipulate strings or characters. This is because the header file string.h contains the definitions of the string manipulating functions such as strlen, strcat, strref, strcomp, amongst others. The advantage of representing strings as array of characters in C or as packed array in Pascal is that the array elements can be directly accessed, and this could speed up several operations on strings. Strings can be said to have two values for length. One is the physical length that is used to declare the string, and two is the logical length, which is the actual length. The maximum logical length of a string is equal to the physical length. For a list of strings to be stored, a two-dimensional array of type char can be used. Or concepts of multi-dimensional arrays can be used with the arrays of strings. The following are sample programs implementing string data structure. So let's look at how we implement the string data structures in Pascal. The following is a program in Pascal that clears the screen and requests the user to enter his or her full name and welcomes him or her. It then displays a message requesting the user to press any key to continue and informs the user the length of his or her name in terms of its number of characters. It then informs the user how his or her name will look like if 10 characters were to be extracted from his or her name, starting from the third position. So here is the example. The comment is program that implements string data structure. Program My program name is strings. Then I have uses CRT, that is the declaration of the item uses, which I said in my previous presentations that it contains functions for dealing with the screen. For example, changing the color, clearing the screen, amongst the others. Then we have variable. Which variables? I have name, which is string data type. Then I have message, packed array of characters spanning from 1 to 25. Begin, clear the screen. Then we assign the message, press any key to continue into the memory location called message. In other words, we assign a string constant called press any key to continue, or string constant, press any key to continue into the memory location called message. Then write line, what is your full name? We read the name of the person. This name is stored in memory location called name, which is of type string. Then we write out a blank line. We then display the message on the screen, Karibu Sana, followed by the content of memory location called name. So whatever that was entered as full name will be displayed, accompanied by the text, Karibu Sana. So if what was entered was, for example, Meme, the statement, Karibu Sana, Meme, will be displayed on the screen, and the character or the message will be displayed as Karibu Sana, Meme, and the character and the blinking underscore will be taken to the next line. In other words, the statement write line will be displayed on the screen, that is Karibu Sana, whatever was stored in memory location called Meme, and the character will be taken to the next line. In other words, the reading or writing will now be taking place on the next line. So we have write line. So we are going to write out a blank line, and then we are going to display the content of memory location called message on the screen. That is write line, message. My dear students and the rest of the learners, kindly go through the former or previous presentations or parts in this series so that you can understand what write line stands for and read line. Then we have read line, then write line, or we display the message. It seems that your name has a certain length. So this function manipulates or counts the total number of characters in the memory location called name. Then we have write line. Then we display the message. If we extract 10 characters from that position in your name, we can get. So at this point, this function here will be able to display your name, but having extracted 10 characters from the that position. So it simply means copy 10 characters commencing from the that character within the string or the array of characters. Then we have write line, and then we display the content of memory location called message on the screen. Then we have read line, and we have the end. of our program. So, my dear students and the rest of the learners, what is most important is for you to understand how we make use of the string data structure. Let's now see how we implement the same using C. So the following is a program in C, not in Pascal, but in C, that implements or requests the user to enter his or her first name and welcomes him or her to structured programming. It then requests the user to enter his or her second name in two separate parts and displays the second name in full. It then requests the user for his or her third name and then displays the user's full name. That is 3 names and the total length of his or her name inclusive of spaces. My dear students and the rest of the learners, kindly note, this is a C program and not Pascal. So here we are writing a sample program in C, a sample program in C, and not in Pascal. So we have our program implementing string data structure. That is our comment in C. Then we have the pre-process directive for our standard input-output header file. Then we have pre-process directive for handling our functions for strings. That is string header file. Then we have int main. That's the main function. And then we are declaring the following memory locations of type character or array of character, where we have first name, 10 characters reserved or 10 spaces. Second name, maximum size 10. Third name, maximum size 10. Full name, maximum size 35. Or first name with 10 characters. Second name to occupy or to hold 10 characters. Third name to occupy 10 characters and the full name to occupy maximum of that 5 characters. Then we have another memory location that we are calling last, which is to accommodate maximum of 7 characters, and they are all of type char. So it is array of characters. Then we have a memory location called message, which is going to hold or accommodate content of type char, but in this case we are assigning a constant, a string constant into it. And that string constant is, or the content that we are storing is welcome to string data structures. Then we request the user, or we display the following message on the screen. What is your first name? And we move to the next line. Then we read what the user is going to enter and store it in the memory location called first name. So whatever the user is going to enter is going to be of type string or array of characters. And then we display what has been entered or what has been stored in memory location called first name together with what is stored in memory location called message. And that is, both is of type string. And therefore, what this statement will display on the screen is welcome to string data structures, so and so. So if what was entered the first name was meme, and the meme is what is stored in first name, or memory location called first name, then this statement will pick the content of memory location called message and the content of memory location called first name and display them on the screen in the following order. The content of message, which is of type string, and the content of first name, which is of type string. And then the function string copy is going to manipulate the full name, the content of full name, and the content of first name. My dear students and the rest of the learners, remember, we discussed about these functions in the previous presentations, And therefore, I hope and believe that you remember what they meant. So this is a function that is manipulating the full name content of memory location called the full name and the content of memory location called the first name. And then we display the message, or this message will be printed on the screen. The first section of your full name is made of the name, full name. So whatever is in the memory location called the full name will be displayed here, accompanied by the first section or the message. The first section of your full name is made of the name, then that name will be displayed there. Then this other statement will display or will be dropped one line below the first section of your full name. And then the message, enter the first 3 characters in your second name, will be displayed, and then you enter your first 3 characters. Those first 3 characters will be picked and stored in memory location that is called second name, and it is of type string. Remember what we talked about, the string identifier or identifier of array of characters. Then this other message will be displayed on the screen. Enter the remaining characters in your second name. So you will enter the remaining characters. They will be picked and stored in memory location called last, which is of type string, or the data is supposed to be of type string. And then this function will handle or manipulate the content of memory location called second name and the content of memory location called last. That is stricat function. So stricat function will receive the content of memory location called second name and the content of memory location called last. Remember, we call these arguments. So the two will be passed in the function called stricat, and then that function will perform its mandate in relation to these two contents or these two arguments. And then the statement, your second name, will be displayed on the screen. So the content of the memory location called second name will be displayed following the statement, your second name is. So this statement means that display the following characters on the screen. Your second name is, then pick what is the memory location called second name, which is of type string, and display it on the screen. And then this other function will manipulate the content of memory location called full name and the content of memory location called second name. So stricat, full name, second name, those are arguments. So the content of memory location called full name and the content of memory location called second name, both of them will be picked and passed the function called stricat, which will then manipulate the contents of those two items, and then it will return some feedback. So the next statement is, what is your that name? You read or you enter that name. Then whatever you enter will be picked and be stored in memory location called that name, whose content is supposed to be of type string. And then we display this statement or print out this statement. Your that name is. So the characters your that name is will be displayed on the screen, followed by whatever that you entered as your that name. So whatever is the memory location called that name will be picked and be displayed on the screen. If the content is Julius, it will read as your that name is Julius. Then this other function will manipulate the content of memory location called full name and that one of that name and return a value. So we are passing in the function called stricat two items. One is the content of memory location called full name, and the other one is content of memory location called that name. So those are two arguments that will be passed in the string called stricat, which will then return a certain value. Then we display the message, therefore, your full name is. It will display what is in the memory location called first name, second name, and third name. So the statement, therefore, your full name is, those series of characters will be displayed on the screen, followed by the content of memory location called first name, content of memory location called second name, and the content of memory location called third name. And then next statement will be, this name is composed of a certain number of characters, and therefore this function at the end of this statement, starlen full name, the whole of it is going simply to calculate or compute the total number of characters that form your full name. So if your full name, for example, is 20 characters, then this statement will be displayed as follows. This name is composed of 20 characters, including the spaces. So this function or that function counts, that is starlen, it counts the number of characters in your name, inclusive of the spaces in between. And then we have return 0, meaning take control back to the operating system and the program. My dear students and the rest of the learners, it is my hope that you remember what I explained concerning the functions that are performed by various functions that manipulate strings. For example, stricat, starlen, amongst the others. And with that, we have come to the end of section 2 in this topic, where we have discussed on the data structure called strings. You can now continue to section 3 of that in this topic. And with that, I congratulate you for learning section 2 of 13 in the topic data structures. You can also access sections 1 to 13 of this topic, other topics in the computer structure and programming unit, as well as other computer or ICT videos by clicking or tapping on EMELISWAP ICT YouTube channel below this video. You can also visit EMELISWAP Life Skills YouTube channel for free life skills, motivational, and inspirational resources. To subscribe to the channel, tap on subscribe button below this video in YouTube if it's not currently reading as subscribed. For any further correspondence, kindly write it to us through the email emeliswap@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening to me, and let's meet in the next section in the following part series of these presentations. God bless.